we've been over this a million times. Illegal immigrants do not vote. Sometimes they do. It's rare. Non-citizens don't vote. Sometimes they do. It's rare. They get caught, but they don't vote in any meaningful numbers. The reason why Democrats want non-citizens in their states is to bolster their census numbers so they get extra congressional seats and extra electoral college votes. So if they can bring in 750,000 people into California, they get an extra electoral college vote.
Yeah.
They'll get an extra. That means those people may as well be voting. So why would Donald Trump then say you need proof of citizenship to vote? Because it will weed out voters who are no longer living or duplicate voters. It'll make it extremely difficult to double register in multiple states. So one of the things that we saw in 2020, there was an interview with a guy who was from Tennessee. I think he was from Arizona or Tennessee, but he was in the other state. And he said that he was listed as having voted in his home state, despite the fact that he moved for college and did not vote in that state. And because these states are all independent of the elections are not federal, they're state. If one person votes in California and the same name appears in Arizona, these states don't cross their databases over to make sure there's no double voting because the states are each an independent election to determine who the president is going to be. By requiring proof of citizenship, it's extremely it's a little bit more difficult to falsely register somebody else on their behalf.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, listen, they're going to do anything they can do to cheat, to be honest. Like, this is just going to stop, all the things that, to be honest, a lot of people, I had a friend in California who lives in California, and during the last election, he said that he wanted to see if it was true, if he would be able to vote twice. So he went, and he did not vote twice, okay, so don't want anybody, I don't want to, so don't call the feds or anything. I don't want to talk to nobody. Okay, he did not vote twice. But he said, though, when he went to the polls that they were not checking IDs. And he went there again to see if they would let him vote again. And they literally said, yes, you can vote. They didn't even check his ID.
The same polling location?
The same polling location?
Yeah.
He went to the same one.
The same one with the same people manning it.
The same one.
You said that's in California?
Yes, this is in California.
If I understand correctly, in California, it's illegal for them to, actually illegal to ask for identification, which that makes me wonder how this is going to impact those kind of things. I know there's California, and there might be one other place where it's illegal to ask for any kind of ID, which is
California. They made it illegal to ask for ID,
so
which
wait,
is the weirdest thing.
If you can get a government-issued ID without being a citizen, then what would we use as documentary proof of citizenship? What would it be?
So it's probably going to be a passport or a birth certificate.
Okay, that's so funny. I forget if I mentioned this before, but I was just chatting with the protesters again, and they said that if people are forced to bring their birth certificate to vote, that women who are married are going to be denied the vote because they've changed their last name.
I have a feeling that
which is going to affect Republican women more than Democrat women.
If that ever were a consideration, they need only bring their marriage certificate with them.
I have a feeling that the real ID, the new, most states require a real ID now. There's only a handful of states that are holding out. New Hampshire is one of them, but I believe the real ID is counts as a
no way
a citizen proof of citizenship.
No, so they're going to require.
So? No way.
But you can get one without being a citizen, right?
Right. Yeah. You get a real ID license if the DMV has updated their protocols and are in a federal database. So all you got to do is bring a piece of mail. You can use a credit card. Like when you go, it's like, we need proof of your identity, and you can go and bring a birth certificate, credit card, and a couple other things. But they do allow people to get driver's licenses if they're non-citizens.
Yeah. Real ID does count as proof of citizenship for U.S. citizens.
So then this is meaningless.
So they're going to ask for what? A birth certificate? That's it? Or a social security card?
They're going to ask for proof of citizenship, and the real ID counts as proof of citizenship for U.S. citizens.
Okay, so what Trump is calling for isn't even extensive enough.
So that means, well, illegal immigrants shouldn't be allowed to have an actual an ID in this country, period. No type of ID. Right. Illegal immigrants shouldn't even be able to get a library card. They shouldn't have any type of ID at all.
I agree, but there's obviously the left doesn't, and the reason they don't is because of they
were telling us that they're too stupid to get an ID this whole time.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this probably doesn't apply in this scenario. And real ID, it makes no. I don't know where you're seeing that, because it makes no sense. If non-citizens can get real IDs, how is it proof you're a citizen?
I Googled it. I asked. It's in Brave, so I can go to Google and check.
I'd imagine that's incorrect.
Glock.
Like people, like tons of non-citizens have driver's licenses.
Tons of them don't too.
You know what they should also do? They should also scan those IDs. You know, like there were times when I went out to the bar or to a club. You know, I'll show them my ID, but then they scan it to make sure it's a real ID, to make sure it's not a fake, because people can have fake IDs as well.
I can't even buy.
So what if you went there and you had a fake ID?
Grok says real ID is not.
Not.
Yeah, it's not. Driver's license are not proof of citizenship because the criteria for getting one is you can have a permanent resident card, you can have a foreign passport with a U.S. visa to get an ID in this country. I mean, or to get a driver's license. So real ID is the states are now in a linked database.
You just show up and you're like McLovin.
So Brave browser's wrong. Yeah. So I just Googled it, and Google AI says no, real ID is not proof of citizenship as well.
But I think they're going to have
Google
to have
says it is not.
They're
And
going to
the
have
source here is Homeland Security.
Yeah, Google and Grok both say no. It was Brave's.
Well, DHS.gov says real ID is not proof of citizenship.
So it has to be birth certificate.
It appears so.
Are there people out there with fake birth certificates?
Of course.
How are they going to verify these documents are not real?
Here's another secret for you. You can get a birth certificate for anybody.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So when they go to these voting polls, are they going to have scanners to make sure that this ID is real, that the birth certificate is real? How are they going to confirm? Because people have fake passports, people have fake IDs, people have, fake everything.
Rare,
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.